Okay, so in this problem, we've got 4 addition expressions to add, and my strategy for each of them is going to be to use a number line. So let me set up a number line here. And you don't have to use a number line, I just think it's a very intuitive way of solving these problems. And the strategy I have in the number line is to use my first number here on the left as a starting point. So here I'm going to start at plus 12. I'm just going to draw a plus 12 somewhere, so positive 12. Notice I don't need to set up 0 or 1, 2, 3. I'm just setting up my starting number. And then from there I'm going to add positive 4. So when we add a positive amount, we go to the right. If we were to add a negative amount, we go in the other direction. But adding a positive amount brings us to the right. So we're going to hop up 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that brings us to 16. Now that seems like overkill for this problem because we're really just doing 12 plus 4. But understanding that how to use a number line, understanding that this number here is our starting point, and that's all we need to start with here. And then when we're adding a positive, we go to the right, allows us to deal with the next problem and more complicated problems. So in the next problem, we're adding negative 7 and negative 8. So negative 7 can start right here. And when we add a negative amount, we go in the opposite direction, right? Instead of adding a positive and going to the right, we add a negative and go 8 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces to the left. So adding negative, we go to the left, and that brings us to negative 15. And you can label that add negative 8. And in the one before that, you could say you're adding 4. So now, let me put the answer in there. That's negative 15. And the next one, we're also adding 2 negative numbers. And just like before, when we add 2 negatives, if you think about this, every time you add a negative value, you're going to the left on the number line. So if you're starting at a negative and adding more negative, we know the answer has to be negative, right? It's only going to get more negative once we add some negative value to a negative number. And that might be a good idea to write down the negative sign before you even go any further, just so you don't forget it. So now we're at negative 250, and we're adding negative 750. So I'm going to actually think in increments of 25 as if I have quarters to help picture this problem a little bit clearer. So to add negative 750, I think of really adding 3 groups of negative 250, or in terms of quarters, 3 groups of negative 25. So negative 250, another negative 250. And we're not going to negative 750, we're adding negative 750. Right? And that's like 3 quarters will give us 75 cents, or 3 negative 250s will give us a negative 750. And that's really like having, well, 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters all together. We started here, so now we're down to negative 1,000. Right? So this answer is negative 1,000. And now with the fractions here in the last step, I guess there's obviously a lot of ways to deal with this, and I think I'm going to maybe avoid a number line here. But instead, I might choose a standard algorithm. I'm going to change 2/3 to 4/6, right? Multiply 2 and 3 by 2 to get 4/6. I'm going to add negative 1/6 to that. Now when you're adding these two numbers, just add them as you would normally, right? With positive numbers. Add 4 and negative 1 and you get 3. And that might be a good spot to use the number line, right? We're on 4, we add negative 1. So we hop once to the left and we get 3. And the numerator is still going to be 6. So the answer is 1/2 or 3/6. So for adding negative fractions, treat them as you would positive fractions, but remember that when you add these numerators here, and in this case it is the case that one of the numerators is negative. Alright, hope that helps.